This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
Be advised that the views and opinions of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
You are what you watch.
Hello, my name is Saycon. Welcome to our program. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you know about life other than having to breathe and live it? What do? We go to school, we work hard, and we work at our professions. We work so hard that the one thing we realize after so much intake of knowledge, the only thing that remains constant is change. With life, the only thing that's constant is change. Just like our economics, even our politics, very much with our own body, our minds, our environment, our country, and the rest of the world. Everything's forever changing. And with change comes the ability to adapt, to be resourceful, to take over if need be, and to take advantage. For whom? For whom? Better yet, yourself, your children, your family, and even your community. Many will say they love the country, they love the people. Let it be. So be it, and either way, one way or the other, we stress ourselves on a daily basis in pursuit of what? To help others, to help yourself, to help your family. But what do we know about life other than the non-stop change, other that constant thing called change? We stress ourselves on a daily basis. But do we really cherish life as what it is? The ability to wake up every morning, to feel good, to be able to eat, to be able to enjoy what life brings, what God has given us. What really, truly happens, sad to say, is we take advantage. We tend to forget the God-given graces that life really is and what it has given us. We tend to forget and take it for granted, so much so when crisis hits. That's the only time we realize, and sometimes it may be too late. Now, I know we discuss a lot of politics in this program. We even discuss business formats, marketing, branding, etc. But every once in a while, we will come across a topic. And in this specific case, our guest today, he's no newbie in the show. His name is Pastor Boy Saycon. He's a very active political player. He's been in many different governments in the last 5 decades. We're here with us today, but this time, to talk about life. Hi, Boy. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Harry. And my experience that I had in the last 4 weeks, I want to share to the others so that they may not suffer the same consequences that I'm suffering today.
Boy, tell us first. Ako, when you called me last week and you told me about it, I almost fell off my chair. Tell our audience, ano ba nangyari?
Well, I have a constant, what we call routinary checkup with the doctors. And as far as my creatinine and my sugar should be controlled, the creatinine that was 1.8 in 10 months ago, and that was before the election, all of a sudden jumped to 6.3. And our doctors here in Manila diagnosed that my kidney is all down to 10% functioning. And I don't want to believe it, so I had to run to the States for a reconfirmation. And indeed, my medical doctor, who has been checking me up for the last 20 years, said that you have abused yourself. And the cause was not because of my food intake, but because of uncontrolled high blood pressure.
It's interesting because you don't, although you have a wonderful Spanish restaurant, yeah, ako sabi ko, putya naman boy, oh, he's overweight, sarap ng pagkain sa restaurant niya, very high and high tasting food.
Yes.
Kasi the Spanish food there, yung kalyos, the mga Iberico, hamon, iba-ibang klase, di ba? Sabi ko, nako. And then I realized, but boy doesn't drink. Hindi ka naman malaka. Oh, you don't drink, you don't smoke. So, ngayon ko lang narinig to eh. So, mental stress and anguish because of analysis, understanding the bigger picture, can be deadly.
It now reconfirms, to me that sometimes, we thought we are asleep, but our mind is very much awake. That means the function of the body to rest is not total, because the mind is working, then the other parts of the body is stressed in that moment. And this has been happening to me for the last actually 4 years. And it's really very hard now to accept this, because treatment is dialysis. Being tied to a machine is something that I still have to reconcile with. It's hard.
You've just started. Now, dialysis actually lets you sit back and realize and see a lot of things in a different perspective.
Yes.
All of a sudden, you're sitting in a different chair. Di ba?
You are not in control anymore. The machine is in control. And you thought at that time, you were not yet afflicted, that you were in control of your life. No. There is that moment of reckoning, and something has got to give. And when it gave down to the 10% functioning kidney, I said, wow, I wish my friends will not have to suffer this, because it's something that I already realized when I was watching my friend Billy Esposo, from dialyzing to transplant, and everything. And
Pero si Billy hindi tumigil sa one lab niya eh. Kumain eh.
Alam mo yung kaibigan naman natin na yun, talagang his love for life is, food is essential to him. We would go to Hong Kong trips overseas just to eat.
Just to eat.
For 3 days. So,
Yun lang talaga trip niya. No?
trip niya. And, but it still took, as I said, it took immediately the reality. Yes, I'm tied to a machine. I don't want to be tied to a machine. I'm going to have a transplant. And when the transplant was successful, it still took him 12 years. And it was not the kidney that gave up, it was his lungs that gave up.
Another part of the body that gave in.
Oh.
In your case, your perspectives have changed. That's why you asked to be on the show.
Yes.
What exactly is the prime message?
Well, I have now to accept that I have to change my lifestyle. First, I must take care of myself.
Paano yan? No more politics.
My doctors advise me, get out of politics. It will not change. It will still be there all the time. There will be problems all the time. But your body cannot take it anymore. So totally get out of it. And yes, I'm going to get out of it. I'll have what we call an indefinite sabbatical leave from any political work. My friends, I want to tell you that as much as I still want to help my other friends, I beg your indulgence, allow me to take care of myself first.
Can you actually command your mind to say no to politics? Because, I've known you a long time. I remember when we were teenagers, of course, it was girls, girls, girls. As life became more professional, then you became a car racer, a car enthusiast. I remember your friends, si Alex, our good friend Alex Limhoco.
Yes.
And then I noticed over the years, you lost it and you had a newfound love. It was politics. Since then, it's been what, 30 years for you?
30 years, yes.
So, your indulgence in politics has been your way of life. It's your food, it's your air, it's your water on a daily basis. How do you get
it's
rid
hard.
of that?
Okay, one, I have to get rid of the newspaper.
Isa yun.
I have to get rid of news on television.
Hindi pwede, no?
Okay, because like
Mag-a-analyze ka eh.
like this, no? Here comes our president going to ASEAN to meet Obama, okay, and to discuss on the West Philippine Sea problem. There is always that.
But your very good friend, the former president, Rafi Alunan, are very much part of that crisis.
Yes, and
They're part of the crisis solution right now.
yes, but in as much as I want, no, to help, no, in telling the president, no, that the beginning, no, and the escalation of the crisis, no, must be something he should discuss first, no, individually with America and with China. And I could not sleep until 3 o'clock, no, because he's leaving today. So I said, I just shut it off. I said, no.
Hindi pwede, ano?
Hindi pwede. Sabi ko na, your time is over. Take care of yourself. Take care of your grandchildren. And that's now what I am working on now, Harry.
And this newfound life, it's family around you. I mean, I
Yes,
understand even the hospital has now tatlo na karatula nila that says no visitors.
Only strictly family are allowed to visit me. So I'm now in isolation actually, no, in preparation for a transplant. I cannot go home to my home in Alabang because I cannot afford to climb the stairs. So I'm in isolation somewhere in Makati.
That's why ganun ka lang. So walang makakagulo muna sa'yo.
Walang makabisita, walang makapunta. Marami nagpupunta sa Alabang, but I cannot, I said, beg your other indulgences that I cannot attend to them.
Hindi ka ba nahihirapan the abrupt change in life?
It is.
Kasi it's been your life. You weren't doing it just for money. You were actually in the thick of the analysis, in the thick of the last election.
Yes, and I think that last election was the hardest on my kidney. It was really because I knew what was going to happen, and I allowed it to happen. And now that I'm on the verge of filing a case against them,
Yes.
I told my lawyers counterparts that I'm turning over all the documents to them. And
Kayo na muna.
Kayo na muna.
But the cases were filed. There were a number of cases
Yes, there
filed.
were. But this one that we have is the most telling because we're filing directly against COMELEC.
It is against the COMELEC.
COMELEC and Smartmatic.
And Smartmatic.
Yes.
But you have to get out of it 100%. Hindi pwedeng 90.
Hindi
ano?
pwede, no. It's total withdrawal from this. Sabi ko nga, napakahirap eh. Like when I withdrew from racing for 28 years.
Ganun katagal pala ng karera, ha? I didn't realize.
28 years.
I know you did it professionally after a while.
Yes, so I was professionally engaged by Toyota, by Mitsubishi. So,
But politics took over your amour on the racing
alam mo,
circuit.
where did the transition happen? During my survey years, first time I met Father Balweg as a priest.
Di ba rebel priest yan?
Yeah, no, but he was still a missionary priest
Okay.
up there in Abra. And I would meet him up in the mountains, no? After my next trip, a year after, he was already wearing guns, no? And he was already Commander Balweg, no?
Naging commander nga
So
yan.
I would send him food and everything. In fact, he surrendered, no? I was able to do some work for President Ramos at the time, ask him to come down and
Talk.
return to the fold of society. So that started my commitment.
We have a president who's very active. He's been accepted close to 92% of the population. Does the new president worry you? Hindi naman,
No,
di ba?
no. In fact,
malapit ka rin kay Duterte.
In fact, I said, it's easier for me to disengage because I know that the state of the nation is in good hands. And we have here a president who's putting his heart and soul, no? And life in the service of the nation. So, for me, I said, ay, hindi ko na pag-iisipan ito ng korupsyon, wala na ako pag-iisipan para mas madali mag-engage.
Tsaka si Vice President Binay, ito naman yung hinihingi niyang plataforma. Let's go to court and let's battle it in court.
Yes.
This is where it's going and he's more comfortable with it now.
Correct. And as I said, at the end of the day, no?
Baka kung nanalo si Mar Rojas, baka bigla na heart attack ka na.
Hindi naman, because when they did an angiogram, because in preparation for a transplant, an angiogram is required. So they did an angiogram, yeah. And I said, Doc, isn't it that dye will destroy my kidney? Yes, sabi niya. That's the effect.
Yun, eh.
So what they did was, right after the angiogram,
Cleaned out.
no, they stuck me into a machine. Into the
nag-dialyze
dialysis
ka na
kagad. So to dialyze all the
The blue
no,
dye,
the blue dye, no? And one thing good with my angiogram, my heart has no blockage. So strong, sabi nila.
Talagang kidney lang.
Yung kidney lang. Oh.
And yet, your doctors told you, the one thing that you do, you would think hindi naman pagkain, hindi naman sex, hindi naman alcohol, hindi naman sigarilyo. It's mental exercise.
That's why
the word politics,
that's
the
why
situation.
the term used in the US is uncontrolled high blood pressure.
Ayun.
Even if you're asleep, you think you're asleep, because your mind is awake.
But you were always checking your BP as well, di ba? You were always visiting the
Boss,
doctor.
that's where I failed to respect the results of all my BP tests. My standard BP test for 4 years is 170/90.
Well, it's a little high, but the over 90 is still okay, di ba? Pero average mataas nga yung 170.
Yung 70, yun ang naging average.
Hindi dapat 140,
Dapat
150.
130 man lang, no?
140, pwede pa sa age. Basta over 90.
Pero ganun. Kaya yung 90s, the heart is strong kasi. Kaya sabi ko, kaya ako 70, 60, ganun, okay lang eh. But the kidney was the one being attacked.
So ngayon, you're telling all the political friends, all the political mates and adversaries, ingat kayo, it's not worth it.
There is time for everything. We must know the limits of what we can do. We are not Superman. After all, our body is fragile. We must take care of it. Yes, we love our country, we love our work, we love our family, but there are all limits to it. So, I'm just sharing to you what I am now encountering. This is my last public appearance. I requested Harry that it's in your show that I will bid farewell to political activities, to my advocacies. I hope you understand that I have to take care of myself first.
But once you undergo and you have a successful transplant, you will have a new lease on life.
Yes. That's why I said indefinite, sabbatical leave.
Okay.
Indefinite. The indefinite will rely on the success of all my medical advice, no? and medical work on my body.
But you listen to your body more or less.
Now I have to listen to it. I'm very
For a while, no, because I remember you were really getting overweight.
yes. So I'm Harry. I am now 190 pounds.
That's a big cry.
From 230. Every dialysis I take, they've taken away 30 liters
Grabe.
of toxic liquid from my body. And like today, they might take another 3 liters today, as we finish the show.
Yeah.
So as I said, I'll allow what my professional doctors advise me to do. I surrender my body to them and to God. So
Okay. We're going to have to take a short break, but before we do take that break, allow me my take on the issue on the topic today called life. Many of us take it for granted, so much so many of us don't even want to see the doctors. Some will make the excuse, mahal. 2, kinakabahan ako. 3, mamatay man kung mamatay. The fatalistic attitude is normally very much part of our heritage, especially the men who like to believe that invincibility comes while one lives and has breath. And if God did take over, so be it. The problem is, when you go, there are many ways of going. Suffering, ideally, is not one of them. Boy, Pastor Saycon, who is with us, has had the unfortunate experience of having to lose his breath, having a complication while starting his first dialysis. I guess that wakes us up, very much so, our politics, our commerce, our country. It wakes us up somehow. The problem is, how do you and I deal with it? We're all different. We all do all different sorts of things. And many of us actually do not even trust our doctors simply because, again, commerce comes into play. Okay lang if you have 20, 30, 50, 100 million. But if you don't, you would rather preserve what little you have and pass it on to your children and your loved ones. Now, ideally, we have safety nets like they have in Europe. And, well, in America, very much like the Obamacare concept, which was a big hit. Here in the Philippines, we really don't discuss that. Here, it seems the privilege will live. They will stay on a little longer. We have no real social nets, and at this point, it's even difficult to discuss these social nets because we have other things to think about. The insurgency, the crazy terrorists, the Abu Sayyaf, the funny Chinese who can't seem to give us one clean word that they will stick by, the invasion of our islands, then the poverty that has stricken many in the population. So many issues, and yet, when life begins to actually tickle you and God calls you, then we begin to get nervous. Ladies and gentlemen, stay with us. While we have Boy Saycon with us, we'll have another short 15-20 minutes with him when we come back. Stay with us. Iniwan na tayo.